Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video, I basically just want to keep talking about loops and what you could do with loops and just a slight variation of the last video program that we did. So in the last video program, we basically just did this. We were tasked to print out 5 stars 4 times, and I told you there are different ways in which you could do it. The starting and the ending value doesn't matter as long as the loop runs at least 4 times. Minimum has to run at least 4 times, and it has to stop after the 5th iteration. It can't run 5 times because that will give us 5 stars 5 times, which that wasn't the idea of the program. It was to print out 5 stars 4 times. But now let's look at this program right here. This program says print the following: print out 4 and then the 5 stars, then print out 5, then print out the stars, print out 6 and then the stars, and then print out 7 and then the 5 stars. So this is where majority of the people get mixed up. The idea is the loop has to run 4 times. It has to run must run 4 times and nothing more than that or nothing less than that. But here's the thing. We have a 4 and then the next iteration we have 5, next iteration 6, next iteration 7. So hopefully you remember that that's our update. Our update goes 4, then it goes 5, then it goes 6, and then it goes 7. But now here's the interesting question that you should probably ask yourself. Should I start at 3, go to 81, and then multiply by 3 every time? Or should I go from 0 to 4 and then count up by 4? Or in this case, what should my starting number be? You should pause this video and actually ask yourself that question. But the idea is, I know I'm going to be printing out a number that's being updated every time. Where is that number coming from in this case? That number is coming from the idea of the loop. So in this case, I know I is changing every time. I changes every time, and I'm updating I. And that number, each iteration of loop, it updates. So I will be printing out I. And then we talked about string concatenation. So you need to actually concatenate the 2 strings because you want to print out the number that's being updated as well as the stars. Let's go ahead and compile and run this. We can see the numbers go 3, 9, 27, 81. The first issue I see is that we don't have a space. We could actually add a space. We could say before you start combining the strings, make sure they have a space before them. So that's just basically the idea of fixing that issue. But the program we're tasked to solve is go 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this case, what's the pattern? The pattern is that we are updating by 1 every time. So that means we need to fix our initialization to not update by 3 every time. So we have to do I++. I++ will basically count from, it'll count from the number, go up by 1 every time. In this case, we could print that out. But here's the issue. The number goes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It goes all the way to 81. But here we have part of the program that we were supposed to write is right here. And now here's the interesting fact. The number that we want to stop at has to be where our test has to be incorporated in our test. In this case, we are stopping at 7. So that means my test is my second condition. It has to be right here. I have to put 7 right there. So that's basically that. I can compile it. It's still not going to give me my behavior. We still have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's because we messed up where we start. Where do we start? It's 4. In this case, where this starts 3, and that has to do with the loop. So if I change to 4, this will basically give me the output that I was supposed to print out. So basically, the whole idea of this program was to show you that although it's possible to do something as many times as you are randomly, you could start from like 3 to 81 and count by 3 every time if you want to print out 5 star 4 times. That was the idea of the last video. But in this video, I basically just want to tell you that there are restrictions to that because there are times where you will be using the number that you are updating often, in this case, which is the I. The I is the one that's being updated. So in this case, you'll often have to use that number, and oftentimes it will tell you that, hey, that number will start at a specific value, and you have to keep track of that value. And so it's important to know that you will often not have to make assumptions about where to start, where to end. It will often be given in the question, and if you're tasked to do that. If not, if you're let's say you're tasked to print out 40 J's 30 times, but they never tell you print out the 10, the 20, the 30, 40, 50, then that's like the green flag to go and like do option 1, which was last video, which start at any number and go to any number as long as you hit that loop as many times as the output indicates for you to print out. So that's just basically the idea of loops, and another version of the loop, which uses the idea of the number that the value, the variable that you are keeping track of. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will definitely see you in future videos.